See what we got. See if anybody here tonight coming live to you. It's gonna be a tough time as a Buffalo Bills fan, but we're gonna see what we working with. See if anybody's out here on this live tonight. Gonna go live tonight because the feeling's right. Gonna go live tonight so we can do this. See if I got anybody on here tonight. What are we working with? See if anybody's on here tonight. The feeling is right. See if I got anybody on here. I see one person. I want to get this question thing going. See what we working with. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Is the Google Pixel 9. And with Circle to Search, I can search for anything on my screen.
Bring this thing on for you.
Birthday present.
See what we working with.
Last year's nostalgia.
Somebody coming through. Handle it to you really good. Glad to see if anybody's coming through tonight. Getting ready, getting ready, getting ready. What's up? What's up? Create this poll. I'm gonna start this question. It's gonna be a non-football related one, but tell me who you got. But I'm just gonna be curious because it's the hot topic going. Who right? So we're gonna see what you say. I had so much fun the other night, and I thought I'd come on tonight. I'm doing a little bit different this time. I'm gonna be doing probably every other day this week. Try to. Let's see. We're gonna see what kind of buzz I get. There we go. There we go. Janet Jackson, D.L. Hewley. Who you got? I'm not nobody's grandpa, so I don't know where you get that one from. I haven't been told that per se, so I don't know where that coming from. And if you got a question, feel free to ask. But if you're gonna come here trying to say stuff, I'm not calling cap. You're not gonna call cap on me. I ain't no gramps, yo. Oh, anyway, what's up? I ain't lying. I sure don't feel like nobody's one either. But anyway, you got a question, feel free to ask. Not quite. But do you have a question or are you just gonna be a smarty? Because I mean, people coming through, I like to show some respect and show some class and some dignity. Okay, I'm enough for this jerk. Shirley, I love Janet, but when since she become political? Well, she became political because of Rhythm Nation. She became political because of the music industry that she's in. You remember what happened with her and Timberlake? You remember how she got whiteball for 20 years of her career. Please hit them likes if you enter and please hit them likes. That's how she got political. If you're an entertainment industry person, you are political. Did the thing go out? So she it's a situation where she's had to justify and balance her being. So It's not something that, it was political. I've been asked that all my life. What's up, Julian Anderson? Welcome aboard. I've been asked that all my life. Not related to him, but was told that I looked like I could have been a member of the family. But I followed them forever and a day, so it almost feels like a kindred spirit. Sometimes with certain people you feel like you can relate to. And Lord knows that music has been a part of my life forever and a day. So so it's just one of those things that just kind of goes hand in hand. It's true that. I remember one time I went as at a club about 30 years ago and I was dancing on the dance floor and the girl come up to me, she said, "You Michael Jackson's cousin?" And so I never forget that night. Um, well, Rhythm Nation, she did do speaking about it. She brought in she did have Colin Powell at one of her shows at the Velvet Rope thing. And I wouldn't say that. Do I look at her as a civil rights marcher? Do I look at her like I do Michael? No, but there is politics involved. I wasn't really fond of what she said about Kamala Harris. However, D.L. Hughley took it to a level where it got real personal. So it's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject. And so it depends on which way you're looking at it, you know. And I look at it like it's kind of like, you know, some people are going to look at it kind of like, yeah. So it all depends on which way the way you vibe on it. But anyway, some people are going to be indifferent to it. Some people are just going to hit them a little different. So that's all I can say about that. It's you know, appreciating some of the feedback so far. I see 7 people have entered the poll. We definitely got some people coming up and about. Appreciate it. 57% so far are saying that they're supporting Janet. 43 for DL Hewley. Let's see how this goes. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? Let's get it going. We're live. Hope you had a great, healthy weekend. We're in the first week of autumn, September, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you remember? You know where we are now. Crunchy trees, crunchy sidewalks, crunchy leaves. No, no, no. What would make you say that? Because my face looks round, but I'm a thin man. What would make you say that? I could show you my neck. Cheetah was bigger than me. I hope they do. Um, I hope so, Gucci Montana, because it's a trick game. This is one of them trick games because this is the games they usually struggle with. And Trevor Lawrence is due for a game. Hope it ain't tonight. They win this game and they look good with running, and Josh doesn't get cute and throw picks and interceptions. This is a very big game. It's a good game. You know, I'm watching what they do, so I'm hoping that it will be. Hopefully, hope from your mouth to your what you say is true. People still hit those likes. Please hit those likes. Hit those likes. People still hit those likes. Yeah, the Bengals do. They're in real trouble. You just treading on any Jackson you can find at this stage. I'm not greasy like Jermaine, but Jermaine, old Jermaine, I would say. Not greasy like Jermaine, old Jermaine. And he very talented cat, so he very talented cat. So the Bengals do need to win because they're showing a sign that they struggle early, and this could be a problem if they do fall behind the eight ball. This could be a problem. So it's a very big game for them. So it's a very big game. No. Please hit the like button. So we got. Please hit the like button. What we got right now? We got 67 for Janet, 33 for DL. Okay. In that particular era, yes. In that particular era, that's how we were raised. If you were of a certain age in a time, there was no CPS. There was CBS. There wasn't CPS. You got your behind toe up, and he was trying to keep his children out the penitentiary. You know, because you got to remember they're from Gary, Indiana. Steel mill, cold, hard, and it was not a very. It was racist and it was narrow minded. He wanted a better life for his children, and and to the core, behind the eight ball a way of life. So he wanted to have his children have a better life. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're a parent. You might not always agree with everything, but they were professionals. And you can say what you want to say, but from an artistic perspective, he raised arguably the greatest, artist entertainer ever, Michael, and Janet Jackson, one of the most important influential female artists. Jermaine had a skill set. Tito got a skill set. Randy has a skill set. So I mean, Marlon some skills. So they all had something that they could do. So all depends on how you look at it. Mhm. Okay, what we got? What about Latoya? You talking about her book? You talking about what she did? You know, there's a lot of factors when you say that. If you're talking about the personal situations, that was things that were not agreeable with. That was things that were not agreeable with. I need to know which area you're coming from. I need to know which area you're coming. Anyway, I need some people to start smashing some likes up. Anyway, I need some people to start smashing some likes up. Mm. The Pestrous Bowl. Hmm. Jim Kelly, because he hit the 4 Super Bowls. Josh Allen hasn't had but one AFC championship appearance. He's a better talent, but he hasn't put it together in terms of putting the components together. So right now it's Jim Kelly. I mean, it's a classic example. If you're asking me talent and potential, it's Josh Allen. But you're asking me what made it happen, it was Jim Kelly. Now, obviously, if Josh Allen goes and wins the Super Bowl, then all bets are off. But at this stage, you got to put something in. You're either a Bills fan or you like digging in the middle of the pile. Um, I like Spiller for overall, but Devin Singletary was a better back. Spiller was versatile. I haven't heard CJ Spiller's name mentioned in a minute, so I had to stop there. Actually, a buddy of mine gave me a CJ Spiller throwback. That's kind of funny because I usually don't have his name come up at all. So, but I did like Singletary though. Mm, it's pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Waiting for some more questions so people don't get. All right. That looks a lot better for me on this channel. I can see things a lot better. Getting stuff straight. So come on now, people out here. I got to see 54 views. If you're in here, feel free to say something. See what you got. I welcome it. We are doing entertainment. We are looking forward to you. The Persh mode, are you like related to the Pesh mode? Come on through. 60% Janet Jackson, 40% D.L. Hewley. We see where we are right now. Tell me where you coming from. Feel free. We're live and living color. Hopefully everybody coming through. Yeah, Charlene, that's a great take that you got because it's true. I mean, I came up in the last year where a switch was a known commodity. That was part of, and belts and switch, all that stuff. And I, I came up right before the timeout era became the norm. And it's a trip how you look at it. It's like you just missed going through that side door. Whereas now you can't even imagine it because it's changed. So it's different. Parents hit different back then. It's different. They were more, you know, neighborhood watch, literally. Schools too. Nowadays, just some of the stuff that you wouldn't even pass, but back then that was the norm. Anyway, I welcome some questions, so feel free to keep it going. Let's see where everybody's at. I would say they probably did some marijuana, and they did grow up strict as Jehovah Witnesses. There was some drinking involved. I know what you're getting at. It's a very stressful, painful business because a lot of stuff is consumed. You have to be kind of high to get through. And, you know, it's not, it's more common than you think. Yeah, I know I came through here tonight. I'm thinking I definitely will come back in a couple nights too, but I want to see what kind of buzz I get. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am welcoming it. I see more people coming through, just not getting the commentary. That's all. Mm. Hmm. Anybody still around? Anybody still around? Thank you for the one like so far. Thank you. Anybody still? Thank you for. I see a lot more people out, but I'm just not seeing no. And I don't know if the notices get sent out or not. I see a lot more people out, but I'm not seeing no- I don't know if the notices get sent out. See what I got right here. Well, that's an interesting topic. You really hit a switch. Um, Economically, well, with the whole Bitcoin and they're trying to go to a contactless society. Coins are going to be I see that there will be an era that won't get Social Security, and I think that they're going to make it tough for banks are almost going to be obsolete. So it's going to be interesting what kind of way they decide to do the money. They want to play like they're poor mile, then they want to play like they're down, and they're getting a chance at that. You know, they- So I think that pretty much in an understanding that it's going to be kind of they're banking on a lot of policies and overseas and shore. So it's going to be interesting what the dollar's going to mean more. Different countries, different places. It's going to be interesting. That's a good question you asked. Where do you go to keep your dollar to earn some revenue? Where do you go? Don't get turned off either. So we're going to see how we go. We got Federal Reserve. I'm just waiting for more comments to come through. Hopefully, get more commentary. Hmm. That's an interesting question, though. Feel free to ask more questions because the more questions and comments that we do, the more things will be good for the. Okay. Anybody's got any other questions? I am waiting. Waiting and waiting and waiting. Hopefully somebody will come through and got some questions. See somebody comes through. If I don't get no buzz tonight, I'm gonna call it in 30 minutes, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna give you another half to get it right. So let's see. Mhm. Just waiting on people to come through. Let's see what we got. Trying to see if anybody else is on board. Gonna hit this thing real quick with this switch. So looking for it. So I'm trying to see what we got real quick. Looking to see if anybody, because I see the views. So if anybody come through, see two, something's on display. What we got so far, and we're coming into her. Okay, right down. Somebody said economic security is failing. It has been failing. It's been compromised for many years. What's up? Glad you came through. Couldn't send out no notices. Got your message. Appreciate you. And I did do that Vince Carter video. I put that thing through. I couldn't get over that one. I told you gonna be fine. You might have a quarterback controversy. Malik Willis looked good. I'm gonna do that in week 2. Yeah, we've been had that. I mean, it's been compromised. Week 3, I meant to say, after all the games are concluded. I will have a finish up video tomorrow. I'm just waiting for these last 2 games. I can't stand the NFL's got these 2 games stretching stuff out when, you know, no, no. Told that 30, 40 years ago, but no. What's up, dropout? Wherever you are. Actually, I was said that back in the day, but yeah, I ain't tripping. He ain't get no raw deal. He got the right deal. You know, I'm gonna do the NFL Week 3. Looking for it. It's coming tomorrow, hopefully. And DeAndre Hopkins got the raw deal because he got hoodwinked. You notice that he's stuck, but Derrick Henry ain't stuck. Yeah, Levi's strut looks horrible. This turkey is throwing picks every game. He looked bad and brutal. Whoever was the genius who went for that for quarterback need to be fired. Well, you got Jacobs. You basically got rid of one very good running back for another, so you didn't miss out. And everybody's doing good. As a matter of fact, contrary to what they try to lie and tell you on about the NFL, the running game looks good. Derrick Henry doing good in Baltimore. It's just that they got the wrong head coach, and they almost blew that game yesterday. That was embarrassing. Well, they too stupid enough to get him. And then you go get Ezekiel Elliott, who now is gotten real skinny. He looking like old Jimmy JJ Walker. And he running like JJ Walker too. He ain't even running his body weight for the whole season, I don't think. That was pitiful yesterday. They got no running game. A typical Dak, be down by 35 points, and then the fourth quarter heroics, he comes up with 29 points. That's typical. He sucks for 2.5 quarters, and then he gets lightning goes to him. Can't figure it out. Plus, Baltimore did put the feet off the gas. I don't blame Derrick Henry for running on. He got that. What he got? Jerry Jones busy messing with Burger King patties and not trying to get the running back patty. He's going for the wrong patties. Yeah, that's why he in trouble now, looking all glassy eyed and sheepish. They're a mess. And Meathead is gone, Ted. He gonna be gone, gone, gone. You see them points they gave up the last 2 weeks? Baltimore and New Orleans putting up a 70 burger on that butt. And Dallas too. They ain't even played the wrong patties. Yeah, wait till I mean they got him for a long season. And don't let Dak or something get hurt. They in trouble. Because their defense is overrated. And Micah was getting ate up. I saw Derrick Henry why they stopped running. I'd have had Derrick Henry running 35 carries last night. He looked like Earl Campbell 2.0. He looked like Earl Campbell reborn. That's how he was running like a greyhound. He ran like a greyhound on them. They had no answers. He not a bum. He's just a guy that needs to be in a system that complements his style. If he was with, I'm gonna tell you something. Even though they don't need him right now, he'd have been perfect in Pittsburgh. But don't worry, he might get a job in Miami or New England. They're gonna put him somewhere or Cleveland. I mean, there's a few places that'll definitely take him on. Or the Raiders. There's a lot. You know, I'm going around and doing a roll call. There's a lot. Which McNairs? I don't know. Oh, well, he needed he might need the friends of someone who was friends with the Cochrans, but I mean, Cleveland is so bad. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's not saving them. To tell you the truth, I mean, they let Daniel Jones look good against them last night. So well, I'm gonna do it in the video. I Cleveland is a mess. He's done. Janet Jackson 71, D.L. Hewley 29 in the percentages, 14 votes. Just for those who are interested in the latest poll, who you got? Sam Darnold is looking like that comedy Arnold. I mean, he is looking like a beast. Their defense is good. See, he's looking like the way Baker Mayfield should look. And they look good. Ain't gonna be a problem. I don't think it's a fluke either. Now, if you get to play 15, 60 years, you better find a home, you know? I mean, do you know how many cats that don't get half the chance he got? So, and he's got nothing to lose. Premier running back, premier wide receiver, and a strong defense. So Brian Flores is doing the job in Miami. I mean, in Minnesota on the defensive coordinator. So I'm glad to see he's laughing and having a laugh, just like Malik Willis and somebody else. That's what the great ones do. That's what the great ones do. That's why they're the best team in the football. It ain't gonna hardly be pretty, but it racks up. You do what you're supposed to do, and you're gonna be good to go. Ain't nobody trying to watch that mess. Because you got to have a camera on him and then the camera to the sides, then the camera around by watching that. I mean, what's he going to talk about? He sure ain't going to talk about quarterbacks. But I know he could get a role. There's a couple job openings I could see, maybe three. Miami, Philadelphia, and the 49ers. Now, he would not mess with Jerry Jones. And Dak's too old for him. And they don't have a running game. Oh, yeah. With Tyreek Hill, and you get your quarterback. Oh, yeah. Oh, you gonna tell me you surprised when I said Miami? You gonna tell me you surprised? Or do you know why? Because Mike McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and he can't seem to do the job, E-I-E-I-O. And he come across real, give him a key, E-I-E-I-O. And they never going to win the AFC East, E-I-E-I-O. and they're just about to pass them up. E-I-E-I-O. And Scarlett Thompson, it's like Tristan Thompson. E-I-E-I-O. And you know they're gonna be a big no-go. E-I-E-I-O. You cannot have Geno Smith lighting your butt up and Metcalf hitting you on bombs and you getting roasted like that. Back to back weeks by the Bills and the Seahawks. Got your butt clapped. Got beat 55-13 the last 2 weeks. Let that sink in. So McDaniel's been there 3rd year, 2 first-round knockouts. How many more years we gonna give him? They look gimmicky. Well, what did we talk? Did we had that discussion? We said Baker Mayfield was a bum. Dak's overrated, but he ain't a bum. He just overrated. But we know what Baker Mayfield is. But what cracked me up was Bo Nixon looked good. I was like, what? We knew Baker was gonna do it though. He couldn't help himself. He knew he was gonna help himself. We know it. We know that his benchmark ain't but so high. We knew. We already knew. It's a matter of how many picks he gonna throw. Not one, not two, not three. Yeah, they did. And it was a strange game because the thing is that Frisco does everything but finishes up. Kyle Shenanigans. That's why I say hot seat. Thank you. Glad you mentioned it. They were up by 10 in the fourth quarter. That's just how they lost the Super Bowls. That's just how they lost to the Rams. He don't know how to finish. Don't know how to finish. And that's what's costing them. You ask me, could they do anything without Debo and see they can, but they don't know how to finish. They lost the game. There's no way they're supposed to lose that game. Jawad Jennings was going off. In fact, him and Purdy got great chemistry, more so than I could. But they they find a way to just lose. It's just I don't know if they curse. I don't know what it is. He can't finish games. They can't finish games. Can't finish games. Now, you remember I told you that the Phil Nicholson Tiger Woods scenario that I mentioned? The 49ers are Phil Nicholson and Kansas City's Tiger Woods. Can't finish. Get to the can't finish. There you go. That's the metaphor right there. You've seen it the last 4 years. Can't finish. And it's not that Purdy played bad. He looked pretty good. They just don't finish games. Pucci missed a field goal and and they let you stick around. He is silly, and he very lucky too. Because I 'cause Imma tell you something, Shaquan balling. Shaquan playing like a guy who got out of prison, and it really looked great on running. Well, you know what? Harbaugh because Justin Herbert, I'm gonna say something that's bold, and I don't care. Herbert should be like a Dan Marino type for his generation, not just because the curly locks on his head, but because his accuracy. But he just doesn't have it's up here, but he just not on it. He just doesn't have it. And the way Pittsburgh pumped him up, wore him down, showed you how finesse they are. Justin Fields is 3-0. How it looking, Caleb Williams? How they looking? Bears are a joke. Chargers are delusional, and it shows. Let's check this poll. 76% says Janet Jackson, 24 is for D.L. Hewley. DL, I don't think you're gonna do too good tonight. Hmm. Yeah, well, he bought and paid for. And, he was all down with Bill Maher. Now he's down with Vlad. He go from one pillow to another because he knows how to act. But he always got something to say. But I did a video about that today. And this is the thing about DL. He was the so-called kings of comedy. And let me say this. He's a strange career because Kevin Hart came out and left him in the dust, and DL can't even get the sidekick to the sidekick in a movie unless it's hood movies or direct to video. No one takes DL serious. No one takes him serious. He a cornball cat. Cornball. What you mean they're all down? But they're supposed to mean? But yeah, that's what's up with that though. Yeah, I could tell. I'm gonna give him one more chance, and then if he says something off, it's got to. I know what I'm dealing with. 'Cause this is just, when we're talking about something that's real. That's truth. That's truth. I'm not gonna argue that part. But we weren't talking about it in that context. His name is DL, but we weren't talking about it like that. But I know what you're saying. I'm not disputing that. And in case if you're getting towards the puffy parties or stuff like that, then you're not. You're really in the ballpark because he was in a different era. I'm not gonna dispute it. He grew up his situation was like that as a child, and also it meant getting work. His whole life was like that. Loved him as a comedian though. My all-time favorite comedian, the king of comedy. Yeah, his thing was like that. But he didn't like it though. That's the difference. He didn't like it. He spoke out against it. Yeah, well, he started off as a singer because there's footage of him back in '65 with a nice voice. And they wanted him to be like Bill Cosby. And then, the drugs, the whole thing. I mean, that's how it was. It wasn't no joke. That's what happened. I'm not going to dispute facts because those are facts. And no, he's not trolling about that. It's just that if you're using DL Hewley's name and context, as far as his personal life with DL, would I be shocked or surprised? Nothing would shock or surprise me, but I've not heard that about him. What I'll say is this: he a cornball cat though, and he didn't ran his mouth. But the way he puts himself in positioning with what he says, somebody's bankrolling him. Somebody, somebody likes him to say these things. Oh, where's the beef? I think a nickname for him, uh, let me think. Oh, I want to say something with the meat market. What I want, Boston market. I want to say, uh, Jimmy Dean sausage. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Jerry Dean sausage. That's what we'll call it. Jerry Dean. Yeah, I did my videos about it. I was on it. I saw the Jamie Foxx video. I wasn't surprised or shocked. If you've watched or know about the Cowboys since the '90s to now, uh, they had a lot of stuff go down, which ain't far from a Diddy. There's a lot of with the White House back with Michael Irvin. I used to tell you the story back in the '90s. The cops be looking for somebody in the crack house somewhere, and Michael Irvin always be sitting in the middle. There's always was something with him. Of course he would. I haven't watched it yet. Of course he would. Of course he would. Because why wouldn't he? Because he has to. He's consistent. He know good and well that now I bet you he don't have that same energy for Michael Robinson, and you shouldn't. But Jerry Jones, see these owners got him so well behaved that they make him look the other way, and nobody don't say nothing. Everybody look the other way. No one called that McNair Houston owner out. No one said nothing. No one calls out Robert Kraft because Robert Kraft hang out with me and associate with J Z. Yeah, you know where I'm going with that. Misunderstanding, huh? And senile, huh? Yeah, okay. Now you know good and well that they measure everything from head to toe. Yeah, okay. They watch everything. They own you. It's like an auction. Kaepernick talked about it for football. D Wade talked about it for basketball. And they do that. Let me tell you something. They'll let you hang out. They'll let you come over for a cookout. They'll let you that. But if you got too close to his daughter or his granddaughter, let's see. If you start, you got to remember something. He ain't that open. He ain't that open minded. We still remember about the Dennis Green coaching opportunity on the phone, the Zoom call before there was a Zoom. And I give him that. Jerry Jones is groundbreaking. He was Zoom calling before there was a Zoom. Said, "Did you call an African American participant?" Yeah, we got him on speed speaker phone. There was no Zoom. I give him that. Stephen A is just so predictable and so sad. He'd do anything for the mess and the money. He sure did. But you see, they all do. They all do. When Jimmy the Greek made that remark back in '88, and you can look it up on Google, and that's why he got fired from. You can look it up on YouTube where he got fired on CBS. They all do. Why you think they got? Why you think they got? The brothers are running the game at quarterback now. Why? You know why? Because you can't hit what you can't catch. You know, and they want that Mahomes Lamar situation. It's different ball game now. That's the what's up. That's why Justin Fields gonna keep a job. That's why Deshaun Watson still they thinking maybe he'll come back or something. CJ Stroud. I can go down the list. And we know that Malik Willis could start for about 4 or 5 other teams right now with Jordan Love coming back. So who I mean, come on now. That's what's up. They all do. They all do. Because if the so-called 40-yard dash meter meant anything, did it hurt Tom Brady's run? Did it hurt Mahomes' run? I don't think so. Doesn't mean a thing. It's overblown. It's like somebody who takes on a profession as a doctor or lawyer or something. Did the SAT score? Did it? They couldn't pass score high. Does it mean that they were dumb? No, because we don't know how this stuff turned out. There's some people are book smart, some are street smart, some are a combo. But I digress. I know I hit a slow night tonight, but I'm always glad with everybody coming through because I know with all the games and it being Monday in the first week of autumn, it's a lot going on. But I did get 18 votes so far, and that's pretty impressive. Looking pretty good. That's not bad. Well, like I said, I'm going in full detail when the games are all over. I got some notes I'm going to talk about. Obviously, I'm gonna dispute the contradiction that we're past running backs because obviously, after watching Saquon Barkley and Jacobs and Jones of Minnesota, Derrick Henry, his backs are still alive. What's up, JJ? Glad you came through. The problem is, Ted, Dallas don't have a running back. Ain't that rich? Ain't that rich? So yeah, remember when they tried to say that we don't need backs, we run them out after 2 or 3 years? How it turned out? The 49ers got a sixth round in Madsen who is beasting. That kid is nice. I'm looking at these backs like, okay, they trying to tell me that it don't matter no more. It don't count. Well, let me tell you something. Unless you are Patrick Mahomes, most of your behinds need to have a quarterback. I mean, I don't know too many teams is gonna get away with winning like that. But somehow they magically making it come back. I don't think it ever went away. You know, I told you before, Saquon Barkley running like he got free. I mean, yeah, I did a Phil Jackson. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. I got a mixture of videos, some videos I did from a time ago. They just rolled up. Well, James Cook is balling as long as he's allowed to run and they don't let Josh Allen try to be cute. They're gonna be all right. Keep your game simple. You know, you got to make your game simple. That's what's up. I like Green Bay's game too. I think, excuse me, I think Malik Willis has done great. You know, I'm glad to see the running backs back. Now that's funny. And I talked to my buddy. I talked to my buddy Ted before they got Andy Dalton looking like, oh man, Andy Dalton looking more like Joe Burrow. I mean, I was scary. He didn't play like that in 15 years. I'm looking at Andy Dalton play. So JJ, answer your question. Let me answer this real quick. Because Bird was a better pure scorer. And Bird did scare you because of how he is the way he played. You can't go wrong either way, but Bird had a certain aura about him, he could come down. Oh, so Josh, it was because D.L. Hughley. So Janet Jackson said she didn't think that Kamala Harris was black, and D.L. Hughley questioned Janet Jackson's take, and it was an exchange, and it's been a war of words. That's what happened. Larry Bird was, I could make a case he was a better player than Magic. I mean, it depends on what you like. Bird beat you in so many ways so subtly. His passing game is underrated. He could rebound. He led a team. He was a tough dude. Yeah, Ted, that Panthers, that I don't know what shocked me more. Andy Dalton playing like that was normal. Or Bo Nix. I mean, I was stunned. More because of Andy Dalton. I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, Dalton been around for like 60 years now. It's about time he do something. Feel like he been a long time. Because he been definitely pounding pavements. But, but I'm glad for him. Let me get some real quick. That's because he doesn't know nothing about football. His football takes a real, what we call kind of like somebody reading off a cue card and hoping something sticks, but he doesn't have any depth. And he doesn't, I mean, his thing is like he can say a couple things, but he doesn't understand the nuances of the game in totality. Yeah, JJ, I addressed it what that Clipper guy said about talking about Shaq's dominance and everything and what he said, and I just addressed it my way. And I'm gonna say it like this. You can make a case that Will Chamberlain was a better player, but if you ask me who was a better center, I'd have to tell you Shaq because there's a difference between the two. Because Shaquille O'Neal dominated his positioning. He won 2 more rings, and he did in less finals, and he did it with less overall talent than Wilt had. Wilt had 2 of the greatest teams ever assembled when he won his rings. No one is gonna, aside from that 2000 era that Shaq had with, Kobe and Glenn Rice and them, no one's gonna sit around and debate that. They debate his greatness. They never talk about how great his teams were. 'Cause before this cat goes on a tangent, I said, "Well, if you put Shaq on some of those squads, we'll see." Okay. I pick him over as a center. I'm not saying that he was a better overall player, but what he did as a center, so you gotta understand the logic involved. It's a difference. But Wilt is like Babe Ruth, Jim Brown, Barry Bone. He's a gold standard for his athletic prowess. But Shaq did dominate position though. Okay, Ted, how am I supposed to answer that? Because that's a crock. When they put the line back in, was it 95, 96? This cat was shooting threes. It wasn't gonna take away from his athletic ability. It may have messed up his style because he played in an era where they counted percentages and points. But you're gonna tell me that Steph Curry doesn't have athletic ability and style? Is that a backhand diss at Steph Curry? Because it sounds kinda I call cap on him. I call cap. And then, I've never been always big on Jordan because Jordan been full of it. I do have to sit by and hear some people. Let me tell you something. I give him his due as athletic and he won, etc. like that, but he's always been a bit insecure. I probably gonna be one of the few forums on here that will call him out on his cap because because when they put the line inward, he was shooting threes. The reason being is because he knew he couldn't do it better. He couldn't do it better. He wasn't gonna match no Steph Curry. He wasn't matching Larry Bird. He was athletic freak. Don't get it twisted. But he wasn't a shooter. Not like that. Now, when he got older, I would give him his props. The fadeaway, the turnaround, that all came in. But as a three, he wasn't. No one that was sitting around. He wasn't mistaken for Chuck Persons, the rifleman. He wasn't mistaken for what Reggie Miller did off the three. That was not his strength. That was not what we looked at him for. Or Dale Ellis. Okay, you want to get technical? I get technical with it. That wasn't his fault. That's why they got that. Why? What? That's why it used to be. Yeah, to an extent. To an extent, it used to be. Used to go get them white cats. That's why you got Paxson to hit them threes. That's why you got Kerr to hit them threes. That's all they got paid to do. Then sometimes with B.J. Armstrong, but it was Paxson and Kerr. That's what it was. I knew what they was doing, and so he's full of it on that one. That's hilarious. Uh, well, he's in the top three. And that's where I always have him. And there's no one that unless your name is unless I'll put it to you like this. Unless your name is Mahomes or Brady, that's the only two people that are in the same class or above him. Now I was not around for Johnny Unitas, but I'm gonna say it like this. I'm going by what I know. But anything afterwards I can tell you. And you can have Montana anywhere between 1 to 3, and I'm cool with it. I got no problem with it. And he's better than anything that's below him, far and away. Some may got better stats, or they may have more of this individualized. There's no one below him that's better. Because I thought the world of Montana, he was the most clutch. And I still got hold Montana in high regard. Because you got to remember something. He did those 2 chips. He did 2 of those chips without a guy named Jerry Rice. Let that sink in. Derek Coleman is one of the biggest wastes of talents. As a matter of fact, there was a guy in the ESPN magazine who said it about him. He said, I'll never give him a call. And I agree. Derek Coleman, DC had a nasty turnaround shot when he was in college with the Orangemen. He just didn't, his NBA career never got going. Skills, but again, there's a lot of these guys who play like if I feel like it, I will like it. He one of them. He should have been in the same conversation with Karl Malone and Charles Barkley. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something. 2 of them years he was a beast, but he didn't play up to his potential. He's about that lifestyle. That's what I'm saying. And you're gonna see a lot of cats like that that you sit there and you go, and people will be saying, "Well, what?" I said, "There's always about 5 or 10 of those shoulda, woulda, couldas, shoulda, woulda, couldas," and he's one of them. That's a good one, JJ, because Twister never gets mentioned by nobody, hardly ever. Chicago heads do. Oh yeah, Kid and Play would party with anybody. They always partying. DC was the homeboy, like I said before. I remember when he was in college. I mean, he had a sweet outside shot, no diddy, but you know, just didn't bring it, with consistency. Like I get the way I look at Derek Coleman is how I look at Chris Webber. I told you Twister's underrated. I said I like Twister. I know Twister. He's from the Shy, from Chicago. Speed rapping, you know, did everything that Luda and Missy did. I know. You ain't never been with someone like this. You never want to be the flow. You need to see them at the door. I'm gonna sit right now with the JJ. I said it with the Fay Fay. I look all O'Shea and hit it like O'Tay. You come watch Club Shay Shay. I'm very familiar with Twister. I don't love that mess because first of all, two Monday night games which are kind of lackluster. Who wants to watch Buffalo and Jacksonville, and who wants to watch Washington and Cincinnati? Are you for real? No, if it's Buffalo and Cincinnati and Washington and Jacksonville, which nobody would watch. That one of them games, but not no, no, nobody will watch that mess. That's you rather watch grass grow. Fonzarelli, Ted, Fonzarelli. E40 got his own vernacular. He has some funny stuff. He okay. I had a buddy who loved him. You got to kind of be in that mindset. I wasn't the superest biggest person on E40, but his some of his word usage cracked me up. What you okay? Cause of you ain't gonna talk about the Gilbert dissing him. Listen, the only reason why they dissing Stockton is because of probably because of his shorts or something. It's got nothing to do with his game. If they watch the fundamentals of his game, if Gary Payton says he was the toughest player he went against, then that's all you need to know. Gary Payton was no slouch on D. So come on now. He lit up Gilbert's behind when he was pushing 59. Come on now. Still could too. Buffalo don't sleep on Travis and the Jags. I know it's a touchy game. I know I'm very cautious. But if we spank they behind like we should, then they'll be in free fall and get mac and cheese on there and beat him up and beat them by like 3 touchdowns. I'll be happy. They played their best ball yesterday. I don't know how rough they look. I know they were kind of winging it the first week. Then they blew the game against Tampa. Um, they played better yesterday. Better. Yeah, we already said that. Ted addressed that already. We already said that about Stephen A. We already dressed it up above. Oh yeah, you got a tough. You got a. I got the North part right. I got the wrong conference right. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay. They're gonna be a handfuls. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Even though I do feel that somebody will reveal themselves eventually, we'll find out who's bringing it because I think there'll be two legit teams coming out of there. 112 vote views in, keep on coming. That's a big game for y'all. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you win, that's great. But as long as you don't get embarrassed, if they don't turn the ball over and they can run the ball, it gives them a chance because you get to see where you are. Now, quarterback to quarterback, that's gonna be even Steven. The big difference is can you move the ball against the Vikings defense? What you mean? What happened? Yeah, but they don't have that problem this year, Ted. They're a better team than they were last year. They actually look better. What you mean? What happened to the Texans yesterday? Got old janky quarterback who throws 2 or 3 picks every game, turn the ball over. Special team sucks, and DeAndre Hopkins is getting old before our eyes. He's a he's a great receiver who, if we don't have this social media networks and information, we would not we would think of him as folklore because he out there dying in Tennessee. He should have came to Buffalo or gone somewhere where he could win because he's a long way from a legit team. You asking me is Matt LaFleur underrated as a coach? The jury's out. Got to see him get to an NFC championship game, at least right now. Yeah, Mo Mixon, but no, the Tennessee sucks. Derrick Henry's very happy to be out of there. Yeah, I saw what Ryde just did, but they ain't play nobody. Played a nice friendly scrimmage game. That don't count. You getting excited about you beating up New England? You really got a slow life because they did their quote about beating Cincinnati week 1. That'll get them for about 6 weeks. But the reality is what you've seen the last few. They're not a good team. Yeah, you do good with your drafts, but you just see, we're not talking about that. He's asking about Matt LaFleur. And that's it. We got to see what you do in the postseason. That's how we judging you. Yeah, cause they beat up on Deshaun Watson. Whoa, go get the parade. Whoa, whoa. And what is the last 2 weeks and go come back home and you give up 70 plus points and you score 40 something? Y'all are pathetic. Yeah. He did go to conference championship game, but can he do it? Uh, what's up, Gregory? I'm from in the UK too. What's up, Gregory? Um, um, Matt LaFleur has to do it with this juncture. Can he do it with this juncture? What's happening, Gregory? Sports is just like music, just like movies. Any form of entertainment is used as a distraction. That's done on purpose. Politicians too, political. They gonna make him wait. They'll make him wait. They'll make him wait. I mean, you saw Vince Carter just got retired by Toronto, so you know Cam might have to wait another 10 years. They'll make him wait. Because I got a question for you. Who was bigger at their sport? Was it Vince Carter or Cam Newton? And I know the obvious because Cam Newton won a league MVP and he led his team to a Super Bowl and one loss. But who's bigger in their sport? Who do you think more people know or care about of the two? Glad to hear from you, Gregory. What part of UK you from? Where you at? They were garbage. And thanks, Ted. You gave me a good question. I might use that for a future video. Vince Carter or Cam Newton? Actually, I can do a cross reference in sports with those questions. Who should get their jersey? Who had a better who That's a good question, Ted. Thank you. That's why I'm always glad you're around. If no other person's forum spots you in, let me be the first. Appreciate you. Cause I appreciate you because that got me thinking. My light bulb went off. I will use that. Thank you for future. That's a good one. Because you associate Vince because he had a small window. Now, mind you, he never led them to no finals. He got caught out being soft against Philly, and he got his graduation, all that. But everybody holds on to that 98 to 01 window and that dunk over that 7'9" dude and the slam dunk. Vince got 3 years, and he did good in New Jersey, but he got those 3 years in Toronto. Tell you. Um, I'm not the biggest Pharrell Williams fan, but he's been successful. He's had some hit songs. I'm not that big on his solo career. He's more known for his production. Him and Chad, the Neptunes. So I'm not that big on Pharrell. I think he sounds like Kermit the Frog being choked or getting pimp slapped, gagging. I've never got the Pharrell Williams fan of. He he's no different than Puffy and Dr. Dre and them who sample and loop stuff from the '80s and mixed up. He's not that deep musically. I just never got it. Sorry, I never been big on Pharrell. That would be a good question, Ted, except for one thing. Michael Jordan got paid $30 million and um he got his rings, he got out of it. Marcus Allen got the raw end of the deal. I gotta That's a great question, but you gotta put me with somebody else that I can put that into context with. Because he had won a ring early in his career, and then they brought Bo Jackson in and he had to wait and say Michael Jordan never had to sidestep for nobody. So Marcus is gonna win that one running away. I know where you're going at with Jordan, but it wasn't the same because Jordan did get won his rings. They did win. He got paid. Marcus Allen, Howie Long will his hair will actually fall forward if you mention Marcus Allen's name because he knows wrong, but he's a company man. Tell you, there's no contest. That was sad because I used to respect the Raiders. In fact, I won money off the Raiders when they beat Washington. But after they did Marcus Allen Cole like that, I even with Art Shell, yeah, Pharrell's always shuffling or something. Now that's a better question. That's a better question. I'm gonna use that one for my segment. Thank you. Um, Montana, because he got ran out for Steve Young. Um, he did get to an AFC championship game, which Bills beat him, but Jordan never had to run from a co-player. I like how I like how you Well, why would you say Jordan? How he get a raw deal when he won a ring and he didn't get ran out for Scottie Pippen? And there was nobody that came after him that was a threat. Joe Montana had built that house in Frisco. He won with Jerry Rice. Joe Montana uh, had to defer to Steve Young because Steve Young could kind of run and was mobile. That's what they did. Nobody came at Michael Jordan and said, "Oh, well, you because we're gonna bring so and so in." That was a different thing. They ran him off. They ran him off. But the difference also, let me throw this one at you. They did not dominate the Pacers in that Eastern Conference Finals. They look vulnerable. And I do understand the Bulls maybe want to go in a different direction because the guys looking old. They did look a little bit old. And we'll never know, but they looked a little bit old. I got a better one for you though than that one though. And I did a video. I already got it in the can. It'll be coming out soon. Does pertain to Michael Jordan. And it's about got ran off, who got ran off in the 94 year, Jordan or Jimmy Johnson. That's the better one. The Joe Montana one is going to be clearly Joe, because Joe Montana, he won with George Seifert. He won rings. I don't have top five receivers after week 3 because it's too early. That's like asking me who's my top five quarterbacks right now. What am I supposed to do? Last week, Kyler Murray and Drew and Derek Carr look like MVPs. This week, they look like reject sloppy joes, just like Baker Mayfield. Lou Piniella, he won the ring and he was consistent. Now, the only thing that works against him is he couldn't get Seattle to the World Series. But, but, um, and I know about around Washington situation, but Lou was bad. Lou was bad. Lou was one of my favorite managers. He could go there and get you going. I still don't know how Seattle didn't go deep though. That's still a mystery. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to go with Joe Montana on that one though. That's a good, and I understand what's happening, Chuck. Kareem, because oh, welcome back, Chuck. Uh, he won the rings. He was decorated from UCLA. He was decorated in his NBA career. He had accomplishments, and he really made it a habit to going out of his way to I think. But we're gonna disagree. That's fair. That's what we supposed to do. The reason why I don't say Bonds is because his daddy was a presence. And so Barry got judged a different way. But Kareem made it a point. He couldn't stand the attention that Magic got, and he didn't like the attention. He wanted the attention. See, he was a diva with it. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't go funny with him, but he did some stuff that because he also remember he was in the movie with Bruce Lee and he did Airplane, a movie. So how can I say a guy who had commercial endorsements and was with Pam Grier and was a commercial entity? I can't put it over Barry. Sorry. Dusty Baker. Dusty. Because Dusty was always a winning wherever he went. I saw Woody Page come on one of the shows and say he would never give Kareem an endorsement. I was watching Around the Horn about 20 years ago. It's Kareem. Plus, Kareem had crossover appeal. Bonds never got the appeal that Kareem had. Kareem was in a movie with Bruce Lee and he did the Airplane movie. I was very happy for Dusty too. Now they hated Barry. They hated Barry. They equal if you want to say about the hate rate. But are we talking about who had done it when they had a form to be respected? It was Kareem. Sorry to hear that. I'm sorry about that, Chuck. So I have to say Kareem. That's a great question that you asked. But Kareem, because he he had more of a juggernaut. I know when he won. Would have won in Chicago for Bartman don't mess with that ball in '03. And the Giants that were up in the World Series in 2002. See, I can give you many instances of Dusty Baker being right there on the cusp of winning. He won. He was successful pretty much wherever he went. Cincinnati was his only team that he was mediocre. But with the Giants, he was great. With Chicago, great. And with Houston, great. So Dusty gets the win. But lose right there, though. Lose like one of those guys that's next for me. He could win. Yeah, I gotta say Kareem though. I say Kareem. 26 votes. 69 for Janet, 31 for DL. Okay. I like it, Ted. We have some nice fire tonight. That's good. We going and that's cool. Anybody coming in, we ain't gotta agree on everything. The raw deal he got, the raw deal he got, that John Gruden got his ring. And that he didn't get the kind of hookup potential money that John Gruden got. I know he didn't want to come back to coaching, but they hooked Chucky up because if I get to coach Peyton Manning, I should have the same access that Bill Belichick has gotten off of Tom Brady. That's only because they pulled him because they found it on him. That's all that is. That's, you know, but it's a lot of politics involved with that. And, okay, JJ, let's see. The better coach. I would say it. Oh, that's tough. Ooh, ooh, because Rick Carlisle really made me mad with how the Pacers. This is tough because Doc chokes a whole lot. And Rick Carlisle's performance with the Pacers against the Celtics was some of the worst coaching I had ever seen. But they both been to finals. I'm gonna give the edge to Rick Carlisle because Doc's had better talent and he squandered it, blown it, blown more opportunities. I don't think Rick Carlisle has had the kind of talent, and I have to use it as a knock against him. And he should have had about 2 rings, maybe 3. That's a good question here. I'm going to give it because of how innovative and what he's been able to make MVPs is D'Antoni. I think I'll say it like this, Ted. Say it like this. Don Nelson has coached better teams. D'Antoni has made better players. If that makes any sense. Because D'Antoni had Steve Nash as an MVP. He had Lynn Sandy looking like an MVP, and he had James Harden as MVP. Don Nelson had better teams, but I can't say he had a players that elevated. D'Antoni's disease, though, is the same thing of whatchamacallit with the Knicks. He runs those 7-man rotations and burns his players out. But he's never had a guy that got elevated. Nelson doesn't. D'Antoni, Kobe called him an offensive genius. Whatever that's worth. He just was too old. He just was too old when he got to play with him because he ran his legs off. But yeah, the antenna disease is real. You run this 7, 8-man rotation crap, and then you get tired. That's that's what the Knicks coach does right now. I can't name it, but that's what he do. And why they always burn out. You can tell I'm not in NBA mode right now. I'll be in October. I have everybody name, but not the same as what Doc Rivers had. Not the same as Doc Rivers. Not the same. Doc Rivers had KG. He had Ray Allen. He had Paul Pierce. Dirk was prime. Jason Kidd was older. And what else? What else? Don't say Pager, please. Don't say Pager. And don't say Tyson Chandler. Come on now. Then to mention he had Chris Paul as a guard, and He couldn't do nothing with Giannis and Dame. I mean, come on now. It's Rick Carlisle. Come on now. Stockton had a smorgasbord of top tier and has underachieved. That's a good point, Ted. I like that one. It's true. It is. Because Steve Nash, I'm gonna tell you something. Now you saw it. You saw it, but initially you were too young to see it, but you saw it. That Steve Nash that I saw in the '90s was not the same Steve Nash that I saw when he was getting them MVPs. I was like, "Who is that?" I was like, "Who's he? Who he was flapping his hair on?" And I'm like, "Who's that?" Because he wasn't that dude. That's why Mark Cuban got rid of him. We didn't see him like that. And then the Vinsanity in New York with Dan Tony's system, these guards come out and they play and they thrive. And it bought D'Antoni bought Vince Sanity a 10-year career because he had that 4-week run in New York. And then you go to James Harden. So yeah, he great for individualized. It's true. And don't forget Amari Stoudemire too. Amari. Because Amari had that out of body too. Okay, I could have sworn we did this one, but I'll do it again. It's Rick Alderman because he took teams to the finals. I go by what you do for your individual success, not your individual player. And between Portland going to 2 finals with him and Sacramento, D'Antoni ain't never seen that. So now I gotta give Rick Alderman. This one is tough for me, but I gotta give it to Pop because he had a longer run and he had more success. But I got Casey right. Casey's one of those guys that he's just right past the top 5. But I gotta give it to Pop because Pop also was GM in it, and they developed. It developed. What he did with Parker and Ginobili, you got it. That's the difference. Because Casey did have more of a veteran crew. Don't throw up Danny Ainge in my face. Don't mention Greg Kite. I'm talking about guys that were actually going to start and play. And I watched the Celtic teams. So, but Pop got results. But I love Casey was big. One of my favorites though. What's up? What's up? IMS. What's happening? Welcome aboard. Yeah, Rick Alderman went to the finals. I mean, the facts his teams were competitive. Dan Tony's teams, I mean, it's one of and it comes down sometimes if a guy wins a chip, a guy don't. It all depends. Depends on what your argument is. And also how well he does in different systems and styles. Sometimes winning the ring though don't make that you better. Because what's his butt? Frankie he used to coach the Lakers, Frankie um that got fired by the Lakers. He wasn't better than Rick Alderman. He got a ring, so that don't mean nothing to me because he stunk wherever else, and he got fired by Phoenix this past year, so that don't mean nothing. Um, oh, you trying to blow up a Seattle right here? Okay. Well, yeah, it all depends on how what your criteria. I'm taking Rick Alderman though. I think Dan Turner was better for individualized players, but I think Alderman was better as a coach for teams. Let's go back to the Seattle thing. Ted asked me who would I take out the two. This is a good one too, because they both split Super Bowls, but I'm going to say I'm going to say Pete Carroll, and I hate to say it. It's all your fault too. You should never done this, Ted. I'm gonna tell you why. because Matt Hasselbeck and Brett Favre, he had a certain quality of coach and he coached up. But I do call Christmas Carol reason. He takes cats that don't have no business and makes things happen. He had Russell Wilson, and Geno Smith is a product of that. You could say that. You could say that. Because Roethlisberger, like he was drunk that game. I think Randall Hill threw the best pass for Pittsburgh that whole game. You can say that, but I think what Pete Carroll did within the culture, he got a guy in Russell Wilson that was better than Hasselbeck. I don't think so. I just got to say that they went to multiple Super Bowls, and also when I look at I have to give Carroll because Carroll had a strong winning percentage. His teams were very, they stay consistent for a while. And I always say that if he doesn't become Santa Claus and hands out gifts, history looks at him better because he was within a few yards from being the equivalent to Jimmy Johnson. If you think about it, he was more closer to Jimmy Johnson than Holgram is. This is a tough one too, but I think I'll give a slight edge to Holgram over Sean Payton. I think Holgram, um, because of what he can do. I think so. There's not too many people I'm taking over Mike Tomlin. You got Justin Fields 3-0. Okay. Have you seen his quarterbacks the past few years post Roethlisberger? You got to go with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is one of the best. If I'm gonna tell you like this, can I say this? Can I say this? This mic turned on. I guess you give Shanahan his due or something like this, but I'm gonna say this right here, and you can give Sean McVay for his reign. I'm gonna say this real quick. If this microphone is turned on and y'all can hear me, if your name is not Andy Reid, then it's Mike Tomlin. That's the only coach I'm gonna if you're asking me who because of the way he's done it, especially last few years. Oh, if you give Josh Allen Mike Tomlin, he got a chance to almost catch Patrick Mahomes in mere mortal because that's the only person, the type of coach that give him a 3 or 4 year window. He got a chance. We talk about this every few months or year, week, whatever, since we've been talking. Tomlin is the guy who can do that. No, his next Roethlisberger would be Dak Prescott. Because Dak is meaty, chunky size, and a certain movement and cadence that is more closer to Ben. Josh Allen's got more quicker gun. That's a little bit different. He's real mental. JJ, are you serious with these two? Are you really serious with these two? Oh God. Wow. Oh God. Uh oof. I guess by default, Nate McMillan. By default. But it's sad. I never get asked about the crime, but if you want to do that one, I'm going to say Ray Caruth because that was kind of like the Shine Puffy J Lo situation. It was it was dumb. It was one of the dumbest cases I ever heard. And he was a local cat who had access to what he wanted and to do, and and it was crazy how the story was. He got out of prison about a couple years ago. Um, let's see. With Terrence, he's typical Hollywood brother. I mean, he's spoken out on some things, but he always comes across like he's kind of bordering on the Kanye. You can't quite tell because he. The only thing I will say about him, he's. I'll say this. I'm gonna say this is if he was. I think if he was white, yeah, Robert Downey's coming around Downey's type of career. I think he got that kind of talent. Good guitar player, but I think that he's kind of shot his own self in the foot for being more kind of pompous. Certain things he said, but I don't. Mm, he's in some ways he's Hollywood cat, and he said some things. He's had to do what he's had to do. Can't say that, I mean, you can say that about most of them, though. You know, I think he wants to be, more respected in his craft and his field. But I can't say that I've necessarily felt that he hokey pokey one other. Oh, come on now. You know I'm going to take Marcus for me as a personal. But if you said who was better, I got to say Tomlinson. Marcus for me personal, but you're not fair for that. I'm big a Marcus Allen fan, but Tomlinson got the, you know, he got the stats and he was the Darth Vader. He was Darth Vader. Even though if you ask me who I would take personally and I want to win, I'm taking Marcus Allen because he brought it when it counted. Thompson got better stats. Just a good question. I said for me as a football fan, my personal takes, I'm taking Marcus Allen. But if you ask me who was better, I'm saying Tomlinson was better. But my personal feeling is a two different thing. I'm just stating Ted knows. I was a big Marcus Allen fan. I like Marcus's game, but I like what he did in the postseason better. Tomlinson sucked in the postseason, okay? But Tomlinson got a league MVP and he was incredible. We go by that stats, he's a better player. Asking me who I want, I'm taking Marcus. Asking me who I think was better, Tomlinson. Begrudgingly, but I gotta stay on code. I don't just because I got favorites, I'm not gonna pick them when it's common sense. But if you ask me who I preferred, who I want, I take Marcus. I don't trust Tomlinson when it came money time. Oh boy, you sound like a buddy of mine back who was near Seattle. He used to play about this Sean Alexander. And what happened when he went to Washington? I remember he had his jersey and he stunk and it was soft. Everybody thinks that Walter Jones was the reason why he had such a great career as a running back because they don't. Oh, here you go, Ted. Ted, you know what? You and I are tight, but you always want to hurt my mind. You want to hurt my mind because you know you got to pick one of my favorites against, huge Bills fan. Thurman Thomas is top five with me in the Bills. Pantheon, second greatest back to OJ and all that. However, 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 I stay on my honesty. I gotta be honest. It's Earl Campbell. Come on now. And when I was watching that game yesterday, what I caught, Derrick Henry was channeling Earl Campbell's. He ran all through the cow. Ask Micah Parsons. It felt like the Tyler Rose had been reincarnated. That bull was not going down. That bull was not going down. That's how Earl Campbell ran there. There's an old clip. I think it was it 78, 79 when they played there? He ran a hole through there. When they had the old school roof in Texas Stadium, he ran a mud hole through 'em. I love Thurman, but Earl Campbell was a beast, yo. I mean, he was a beast. I'm not even gonna front. This is another case, and if I had to pick who I would pick, depends on what style you want. Because if you want the mad dog run you over, it's Earl. If you want like a tween, you get Thurman. But Earl Campbell, and he was a handful. And they ran him out, and then he got to New Orleans, and it's a shame what happened. But yeah, 40 years ago. But his first few years, he was just he was something else. If you ever get a chance, look at that old highlight against the Rams. Isaiah Thomas went to go hit him, and Earl put his body in his collarbone and nearly separated Isaiah Robinson from his whole being. And that was one of many of his greatest hits. You are not going to just tackle Earl Campbell being flimsy. Red Auerbach, come on now. He put the team together. And I know it shouldn't be that simple to say that. And I know about all. You got to remember something. What Auerbach did was amazing. You know, when you assemble those teams together and you dominate, incredible. So, see what we got. This must be the class of the teams that didn't win. The teams that didn't win. Gotta say the '98 Vikings. '98 Vikings, I want to say. '98 Vikings. They lost one game. So yeah, that's probably my time to pretty much go because sometimes it be acting kind of funny. Let me see if I got something on the other one. Let's see if I got anything on the other one because I can't quite. It's probably telling me. I've been on here for almost 2 hours. See what I got. Dan Marino. Dan Marino. If it's off talent, not rings, it's Dan Marino. Dan Marino. I got 10 more minutes. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't. They shortchanged him. Dan Marino. It's Dan Marino. He thought he was gonna go over there and make it a shorter, quicker picker upper, and it didn't work that way because um, they didn't have the right components. '98 Yankees. The Blue Jays had played with a lot of emotion. They were what I call a great. They were what they did for as a team. That Yankees team is special. That's one of the greatest teams ever. Yeah, he went to Miami, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. They were mediocre. I know Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor, Joy's brother, but they were mediocre. They were decent, but they weren't a great team. But they did a they, you know, you can't compare what he had did in Dallas. You can't. There was no Emmett Smith. There was no Michael Irvin. There was no Deion Sanders or Charles Haley or nothing. So yeah, I remember that. So different eras, different situations. Different eras, different situations. Yeah, 98 Yankees. I mean, that's not even fair. I mean, that's no di- that there's no problem with questions like that because I don't want to be dissing Toronto. That was great what they did, but come on now. That 98 Yankees team was one of those greatest teams ever. You know, it's you know, you got to put it with a great team. You know, so yeah, that's what you call it. Next, you're gonna tell me Puffy was wearing a Yankee cap too, allegedly. Yeah, I wish they would commit a crime with a San Diego Padres cap on their head or Seattle Mariners cap on their head. So anyway, I should have about probably about 6 more minutes because I've been on almost two. So I'll be on for 6 more minutes. So let's make it count. Appreciate everybody that's came through tonight. I thought I'd come down on a Monday night. Had such a great time Saturday, so I'll probably come back in a couple of days. I'm doing two to three a week. Just see if y'all want me to come back more than twice a week. Give me a one signal. If you want more than two streams a week, give me a one signal. Well, as long as she wasn't wearing Michigan, I'm okay with that. I ain't got no problem with that. I gotta say Francona because he did it multiple times. Because he done good with I was with Boston and then with Cleveland. I like Cito a lot, but I'm always impressed when a baseball manager can take his skill set and do it in versatile places. That's why Sparky Anderson got love for me. That's why Billy Martin got love for me. That's why Whitey Herzog got love for me. See, I can roll these names off. Lou Piniella. Uh, Same thing with Dusty Baker. That's the, that's no knock against a manager who can stay with one team and win multiple like Tommy Lasorda or something. But a lot of times cats get burned out. But when you can go somewhere else, like I'll give you an example. Bobby Cox was mediocre in Toronto, went to Atlanta, hit the mother load. Now, Ted knows the guy that's infamous with this is Buck Showalter. He builds teams up, he just don't stick around to finish because somebody else comes along and get his reign. Like the Mets are in second place in the AL East as we speak. They look good. Every time they get rid of him, somebody comes behind him and scoops up what the dog left behind. He can't get it done. So he's an exception. Joe Torre could do it too. Oh yeah, I'm observant of that. Because we look at that in sports. How good are you if you went elsewhere? I knew I was trying to mention earlier was Frank Vogel. could have probably won a couple more rings in Atlanta. But Frank Vogel is one of those examples. Without the Lakers, he was really good in Indiana. He stunk in Orlando, and he got ran out of Phoenix. But that's yeah. So it's big question marks, you know. So those things I look at. That's one thing I say about Bobby Cox. But you know, I give him credits due. Chris Bosh. Bosh helped Miami win. That's gonna come down to in that argument. He went further than y'all did. Y'all didn't. Y'all was good and really good, not great. Bosh, I can make a case. Oh, here you go again, Ted, because these guys were both big. Oh, this is tough. Because Larry Chipper used to tear the Mets behind up. Yeah, Chef, they both got rings. Yeah, I gotta say Chipper. I hate to say it because Chef had one of the greatest swings ever, but I gotta give it to Chip. Chip. I liked his book too. That was a tough one though, begrudgingly, but I have to give Chip the edge. Yeah, I got a couple minutes before I'm gonna call it a night. But yeah, but he was a great player in Toronto. He was a 20 and 10 man. Yao Ming was never down, and where he would teamed up and with stuff. So I have to give it to Bosch. I have to. I am in between with Yao. A big hurt because he was a more consistent hitter. But Griff was bad, like he could flat out hit and all that. But the big hurt was Frank Thomas was the right hand version of Tony Gwynn. So that's my story on that one. That's my story on that one. I gotta go with Frank Thomas. I dug McGriff though. Still remember when he came to Atlanta and he came up big, got out of Toronto. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple more. I don't want to be doing a whole lot of basketball and stuff. When nobody ask me about football, but um, go on, give a slight edge to Chris Bosh again. But they're kind of in the same boat, but they're kind of not. Gasol came up big for the Kobe and the Lakers, but Bosh was big for Miami, and I wasn't really feeling Paul Gasol's career really after the Lakers. I liked him with Memphis and the Lakers. His Chicago, San Antonio years were kind of, you know. Yeah, I told you I'll be more ready for basketball when we get to October. I'm trying not to do too much NBA stuff because, you know, and it could go either way. I mean, there's things about Gasol, but I thought Bosh was more versatile. That's all I'm gonna say with that. And I think he could have gone. He doesn't get hurt. I think he plays another 5, 10 years. I think he's been underrated underrated. I think he was LeBron's best teammate because he was the first guy to understand how to defer and be a multi-level player because he doesn't get enough due. He could guard guards. He guarded Tony Parker. He got out there against your bigs. He was versatile. He was just what they needed. So 28 votes tonight. 71% supported Janet Jackson. So I'm gonna take that with me. Yeah, and they are a sad looking 1-2. Could be a long year. Somebody had forecasted. And Meathead Mike McCarthy could be bye 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 like in sync. He could be bye bye bye. They in a lot of trouble. Lucky for them to get to play the Giants in Washington. But if anything happens to Dak Prescott, it could be a lot of rebound team. They're not good at all. Their defense is atrocious. They don't have a running game, and he need to be mad at himself. Who they play on Thursday? Because I'm not looking that far ahead. Who Dallas play on Thursday? You play for Dallas Cowboys. You got that star in your head. They got expectations. Jerry Dean sausage. Who they play on Thursday? Who they play on Thursday? I'm gonna get ready to go in just a second. Ah, yeah, the Jerry Dean sausage. I might use that in the term. But anyway, who they play on Thursday? Oh, actually, they look pretty good. They look pretty good. But Dallas will probably win that game by 45. They always beat that butt up. That's why they didn't mess them up. The NFL messed them up this year. Usually they give them hokey games, and they look good, and they 3-1. And then the Surge don't have to about week 5 or 6 where they get blowed out. They got to be mad with them. If you say so, we'll see. I don't know. I don't trust Daniel Jones. He played out his mind, but I don't know. He got a ring, but he was kind of it depends. That's a judgment call. That's a judgment call. I thought he was good, not great. I like him too because he spoke his mind, and they don't like that. There's a lot of politics involved, as you know, with the game. So I like him. I say good. He got the job done. He got him a ring. That's all you ever have to do in baseball. You win a ring in baseball, you pretty much don't have to answer too many questions because it's the toughest sport of the major ones, I think, to win. They don't want him in no booth. But he spoke his mind about stuff. I always got respect for him. Much respect. If you put him in the booth with Rasheed Wallace, yeah. I don't know who they put him in the booth with, though. That's a coach. Maybe you put him in the booth with Popovich. But who in baseball would be him in a booth? I don't know. 29 votes now, 72 for Janet, 28 for Hughley. Okay. I know that. That's my wish. Mine would be Sheed, Max Kellerman, and Wiles with Paul Pierce. Them four would be, that'd be my wish. That ain't never gonna happen. Cause I like Wiles' snark and his, I like how he's my favorite on Fox. You know, I feel about Sheed, and then you got Pierce, who would be cool on the sidekick, and Max Kellerman. I would put them four up. That ain't gonna happen. They tried that with Sheed and Kevin Garnett on the back end. Shaq, is she if Shaq, the Shaq that's off the all season would come to the on the way he be going at Rudy Gobert and Ben said bring that version. That's the version of Shaq I did. He did it once though. I remember when Donovan Mitchell and Donovan Mitchell had the headset on. He said, "You know, you're a good player, but you're not no superstar." And Donovan Mitchell's whole side of his face went down like, "You're not a superstar." And then he did it last year to Jokic. Remember? He said, "SGA should have been MVP." And then, and every time Shaq says that, cats get, I don't know. He said, "Joel Embiid, we need 28-10, bro. You need to do it every night, 28-15, 30-15 every night." He was? I didn't know he was hired from him. If they just now firing him, they embarrass him because that whole episode with that basketball reckless with the kid. Studio Thuggery 101. Studio Thug. I'll do a video about that. But Matt Barnes should have been fired though. Studio Thug. She's thought she's still with Fox. She's with Fox. Yeah, that's all. Bruce Bochy. And I love Tory Moore, but he asked me who was better. Bochy. Come on, man. When you win multiple rings like he did, come on. Yeah, Bochy. There's a funny story about him too, because I grew up in Houston when he was a catcher. He sucked, but I didn't see him turning out to be this one of the greatest managers ever in baseball. Never saw that coming. Jefferson for now, because Jefferson is. Come on now. Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold. Come on now. Come on. I feel for Devontae Adams, but Justin Jefferson, I feel more for. Look at who he's had the quarterback. He's making these busters look great. Okay. It's got to be said something about a receiver that can have Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold as a quarterback. Yeah, Bochy, because he's. They might have the same amount of rings, but the fact that Bochy can go here and go there, and man, he's. Yeah. Well, so did Tory, but it's the way he did it in different places. Bochy's a machine. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, why, you know, but you see, you can't go by that. Cats turn around and get into an opportunity and they blow up. You didn't see it when they were playing because you thought you'd have laughed. Like if you would have told me that Steve Kerr would have been one of the 15 greatest head coaches ever, I would have laughed you. Just probably ask somebody feel about Phil Jackson and Pat Riley. Just telling you, man. Just saying. No, Joe Torre was a good player. He was a good player. I think he was the MVP one year. with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was a good player. He's one of the exceptions of a guy who got even better as a manager who was good to be good to great to be. But a lot of the times, these cats that blow up were scrub players. They were never, Steve Kerr, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Bruce Bochy. Uh, it's not what you think. But yeah, Joe Torre was a really good hitter. Like it's not that like Billy Cunningham won with the Sixers. He was a really good player. I'll give you that. Most of the times, a great player sucks as a head coach, or they get bad situations. So they do. That's an accurate description. And they also know how hard they had to work riding the pine or getting their time. And they get opportunities because great players mentally think differently and they have expectations. I remember watching Magic 30 years trying to coach the Lakers, and he was frustrated because, well, they weren't seeing the game like he could play the game. Larry Bird did do really good. Larry Bird did very good, but it's not the norm. Yeah, that's why Phil Jackson, Pat Riley could get a lot of the bench guys. That's what Steve Kerr did too. And plus, there's no expectations because if they suck, then well, oh well. Whereas if you're a name brand and you go to coach, everybody. That's why Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas get ripped on for being owners because they stunk as owners of how great they were as players. You see how that hits. So running his GMs or something, yeah. Well, it's because it's mental. It's mental. You got to remember it's a mental rhythm. So, and that's you have expectations. That's what it comes down to. He didn't fail. He went to Marlins and Gene Carlo was there, and he did good with the Marlins. He didn't feel as a hidden coach. It's just that the team, it's a different situation. Now, had he been a manager or really gotten more opportunity, no. And Gene Carlo's problem is he couldn't stay healthy. But no, I won't see Marlins fail. Plus, the Marlins at that time, yeah, he fired him, but that don't mean he necessarily failed. They sucked. They couldn't pitch either. What you supposed to do? And he was in a no-win situation. And it's kind of hard to be a batting coach anyway when you have, this thing is you got to have talent to get talent. The Marlins have always been a joke anyway. There's a bad position for Jeter to be associated with that team because they've been a lost revenue team. I mean, come on now. They did something that a lot of teams don't do. They won 2 World Series rings within a 5 years team and tried to firestorm the team. So, yeah, well, because Steinbrenner's reputation. There have been racial remarks. There have been things that were said, and Dave Winfield went through it. Reggie Jackson had to toe the line, and Reggie was outspoken, but yeah, yeah, cats long on memories, yo, and they know how they get. They might could have gotten somebody like that today. It's a different ball game. he just wanted to go there just to get a ring without him playing a contribution. He would have played for somebody, but I don't think baseball wanted him. No, I think they colluded to keep him out. I don't know how bad they wanted him. I don't think they wanted him that bad. He was close to 3,000 hits. I am a firm believer that he could still play 1 year right now and get it. I do believe. I just think that they didn't want him there. Okay, this is gonna be my last one because I gotta get ready to go to eat. I'm going to say it's such an odd question too. They should have said that like 25 years ago. Tear that, demolish that, wax stadium down. I'm gonna say Clint Hurdle. A slight edge to Clint. I do like Felipe, but I'm gonna say Clint by a slight edge. Oakland Stadium. It's got a lot of memories, but it's been so dead. So dead. Okay, I got 3 more minutes. So 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes. Since I got a lot of ones, I'll probably come back. I'll try to come back. Maybe tomorrow night or definitely Wednesdays. It'll be one of the two. Because I'm gonna do the football recap. Do a week. We'll see. See what's in the news. I'll definitely got one more, and maybe two this week. Maybe two more this week. Definitely one more. I appreciate the ones. The ones got me inspired. I just gotta get more people to come through. Love the commentary and everything. Just gotta get more heads coming through because I got pretty good poll tonight. We did pretty good views tonight. Appreciate everybody that comes through. Always do. Thank you as always. Got to talk about. We might address that Oakland Stadium, Ted, in the video. I'll see that old crappy stadium. So anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. Appreciate everybody coming through. Stay blessed, stay real, stay cool, stay calm. Appreciate support. The best to you. Gotta go watch this game. Go Bills. Peace.